I really can't believe that on this date next month, I will be 30 years old. It is so bizarre. And for those of you guys who are in here and are 30, I have no judgment on that. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking 30, holy shit, that's so old. I just can't believe I'm going to be 30 in a month. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but I just still feel like I'm fucking a kid. And on July 13th, I'm turning 30. It's so strange. It's so strange. I know that Kate Mulligan does this impression of me that talks about my life is not where I thought it was going to be, but holy shit, is my life not where I thought it was going to be. So today marks 30 until 30. We have 30 days left in my 20s. And that is something. Tonight on the World Girls, we're going to be taking suggestions for things that I should do. I can start that early on this show today as well for the last 30 days and what it is that I have to do in the last 30 days. I'm thinking about doing you guys know how I did 365 days of Roxy I posted an Instagram picture every single day, not this past year, not 2020, but 2019. And then everybody copied me in the best way. I don't mean copy in a bad way. I mean, mimicry is the biggest form of flattery. Everybody did it last year too, but I did it the year before and I really liked it, but I also hated it. And it was a bunch of mixed feelings. So I'm thinking about doing 30 days of Roxy. So 30 till 30, which would mean I have to post something today. Which would mean I would have to take something to post today. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm thinking. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. I also want to try to take a trip. I'm thinking about going out of town on Wednesday night or after the World Girls, taking a red eye to get to, I think I might go to Chicago for the weekend. One of my best friends lives there, the one that for 4 months didn't respond to me. And now we're back on like gangbusters. But I think that him and I both could really use to see each other because this has just been a really strange time. And it's nice to be surrounded by people that you've known and loved since you were a kid. So I might try to do that. Although, as you guys know, everything is back to normal price. I was excited for the flights to be like $100 and they're a wee bit more than that, but at least I can stay with my friend, which helps a little bit. So that is something I want to try to take a trip. I still don't know what I'm going to do for my 30th. Yeah, it's kind of go time for me. This weekend was a wild weekend. I'll tell you guys all about it on the show today, but welcome to the show, Live with Roxy, June 13th, 1 month left of me being in my 20s. If you want to support today, ask me anything, talk about anything, need advice on anything, suggest things that I need to do by the time that I turn 30. Did I just stutter? Yes, I did. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Super chat in, all of that good stuff. Thank you to my amazing mod, Jake Yakoveta, for putting that Streamlabs link in the live chat. I appreciate you. Get them in loud, get them in proud. I want to hear from all of you guys in here right now. Speaking of the Streamlabs, let's jump on over there and see what is going on in the Streamlabs so far on this show today. All right, if I can turn back time, if I could find my... whatever, it's a whole thing. The last Stream Labs after our show on Friday came in from Sam Wilson, who said, "Hey, Roxy, just thought I'd let you know that I live in Atlanta and I randomly encountered Alex and Molly Damon at a restaurant tonight and they were so nice. Alex is lucky to have you as a manager." I'm lucky to have Alex as a player. Molly and Alex are both phenomenal people and I'm glad that you went up to them at the restaurant. That's great. They are so awesome. Katie the Good Witch yesterday in the Streamlabs said, "So I came out 5 years ago today," which is wild. Fuck yeah, Katie. "Right after the Pulse shooting in Orlando." Wow. "I'm not sure if it's because I came out or because I entered my 30s, but I've become a completely different person. Cheers to being at peace with yourself." Katie, we love you. We're so happy still about your new job. And I think that whenever we talk about any things that are tragic throughout our history, like the Pulse nightclub shooting, which was fucking horrific, I think it does cause us to reassess where we are in our lives. And I think I've actually heard that from multiple people that they came out right around them, because I think when you realize how precious and short life can be, you just want to live your truth. And this is a place that you are not just tolerated for living your truth, Katie, but celebrated for living that truth. And thank you for sharing that with us. We really appreciate it. And congrats on 5 years of living the life that you want and were meant to live. Glenn Caesar in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar with that big support. Thanks, Glenn. Says, rest in peace, Chris Burke, and love to Avery Burke. # 2 amazing rock stars forever. Let's go Smets and everyone still fighting to smash cancer. I stand against anti-Semitism. I stand against Islamophobia. I stand against Asian hate. # stop AAPI hate. I know that Black Lives Matter. # BLM. Miles Cosgrove, Brett Hankerson, Jonathan Mattingly, Russ the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, all 3 of them for killing Breonna Taylor. Hope today is the day. Justice for all the people who've lost their lives due to excessive force. # say their names. Absolutely, Glenn. Thank you for always reminding us that here on this show. We say it twice. And honestly, we should probably say it even more times than that. But we're going to keep saying it as long as it takes. Glenn also says, hello and happy World Girl Sunday, Roxy, and all your nicknames. Well wishes and thank you for hanging out with us. Peace, bunnies, hugs, and good stuff to you and yours. Grammy and Papo, be most excellent to yourselves and each other. RJ and Rockstars, because you deserve it. Thanks, Glenn. Glenn says, RJ and everyone who shows up to give their support whenever, however they can when it gets tough, even if by yourself, you're not alone. Everyone who's battling, keep on fighting. You're a winner. You're kind. You're smart. You're unique. Showing up for people who need it and want it makes you exquisite. I'm loving these new words, these adjectives, Glenn. They are spot on. Speaking of exquisite, guys, just pausing for a second. You guys know I was never somebody who ever got my nails done. I went and took Grammy to get her nails done like 2.5 weeks ago. And now I'm kind of hooked. And so I went and treated myself to my nails today because they had grown out so much. And I feel like so much better when I get them done. It's nice to take 45 minutes for myself. I never do this kind of thing. And to go every 3 weeks or whatever and get my nails done. Yeah, I'm just really, really happy with it. So I am exquisite is what I'm trying to say. Speaking of exquisite. Oh boy. Glenn also says, being so unselfishly loving and supportive of others, including strangers, whether it's on the internet or not, makes you humane and worthy. Your story is important, deserves to be seen and heard. And for me, maybe you all too. I love myself. I forgive myself. I fully accept myself and I embrace myself. I'm thankful to all of my life because I'm who and where I am because of how I've chosen to respond to the choices made by the people/world around me. Cheers to finding fuck yeah news brings us joy, smiles, and laughter in each of our days, our weeks, our months, and even our years. May we lose ourselves in singing and dancing to the good vibes of our own music whenever, however, whenever, wherever we possibly can. Thank you, Glenn, for those messages. Really appreciate you. And thank you for the support as always. John Get Bent in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar said, I started bracing for impact for 30 when I was 28. I was like, I have 2 more years to be trash. Also got life insurance and started a retirement fund. I'm 32 now and I still feel like a fake adult. I totally get that, John Get Bent. As I've told you guys, we've talked about how we can't brace for impact. And so even though I've got 30 days, I'm not bracing for impact as much as I'm just trying to live the last of my 20s. I do feel like I got definitely shafted with the last year of my 20s being completely taken away, which sucked. But yeah, I think we're always kind of going to feel like fake adults. That's just a weird imposter syndrome thing that happens to a lot of us, including myself. I think about this and I'm like, wow, I live in an apartment, I pay rent, and I have health insurance, and I pay my taxes. Like, at what point am I going to feel like an adult? And I don't know if I fucking ever will. Even my friends with kids always say that too. So I just don't know that it's ever going to completely feel adulting. Not like our parents were, at least. I don't know, but I could be wrong about that. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about the weekend and then talk a little bit about some revelations on my end. And then I want to take more questions, comments, concerns from you guys. It is the AMA show. I've been doing these weekly by popular demand, I think. I think that you guys like, instead of talking about entertainment news once a week, we just kind of chit chat. So streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar, super chat in, get in your questions, comments, concerns, things you need advice on, advice you want to give to me in the last month of me being 30, things you think that I should be doing in my last month of being in my 20s, not my 30s. Oh boy. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Okay. So this weekend, on Friday night, I've been trying to do this where one weekend night, I go do something, and one weekend night I work, because otherwise I'll just end up working the whole time. So on Friday night, I told you guys I've been working on this new script. I'm still in the outlining phases, but I worked on outlining the script. I was very inspired recently by everything that just happened in the world and you guys, and the 365 days of Live at the Roxy, and being able to stick together and starting the Whirl Girls, and watching people who have gone through some horrendous things come out on the other side of this. And I've just been feeling very, very artistically inspired. I think for a long time, quarantine kind of gave a lot of us a little bit of writer's block, because when you're not out in the world and you're not seeing people and you're not engaging, it kind of can be hard. It can be more challenging to create art, because you're just kind of stuck. You're not living. One of the most important parts, to me at least, of creating art is living life. And so I was outlining more, and I'm just in the early stages of it, but I'm really liking how this script is shaping out. And I'm so sick and tired of outlining. I just want to start writing, but I know that I'll be kicking myself, because there's a couple of things that I haven't quite figured out yet, and I really need to dive into them before I actually just start writing. Even though I hate outlining, I like to write. I'm a creator. I hate doing anything that has to do with structure. I feel like it would be like asking an interior designer to create the fucking load-bearing poles for a load-bearing beams or whatever for a house. It's just so not what I don't like to fucking, and there's an inciting incident that takes place on this page, and but it's part of the process, so it is what it is. And not everybody's process, but my process at least. So I'm fucking tired of outlining, but I still definitely have a lot to do. But I'm liking where this is going. So I worked on that Friday night, and to be honest, I didn't sleep for a single second on Friday. I just have been really struggling to sleep. Number one, because I'm working so much, as you guys know, despite some of you guys not thinking what I do is work. Bringing that back. Number two, I just have severe, as you guys know, I go in and out of extreme depression and anxiety, and it's just really fucking hard sometimes to sleep when your brain just will not stop, and it just can be very overwhelming. And so I really haven't been sleeping. So that night I didn't sleep at all. And so on Saturday I wanted to try to do something pretty relaxing. And so Steph and I went to Sarah's, my writing partner, though she's not partnering with me on this script, but she is my usual writing partner. And we went and just sat by the pool all day. And it was really fucking nice. And it wasn't booze by the pool or raging by the pool. It was just being in the sun with good people. The girl whose wedding I went to last week, Lizzie, was by the pool too. And just Steph and I took a bunch of pictures, and we had some Whirl Girls merch there. So we took a couple pictures with that will be showing at some point. I wish Dee was there. But we just sat by the pool and listened to some music. And even though I wasn't sleeping, I do hear from people that when you're relaxing, it is nice for just a little bit of, it's not the same as getting sleep, but at least you're not like on the fucking go. So I really wanted to be able to do something relaxed on Saturday. And so I'm really, really lucky. Sarah was house sitting her parents' house, and that pool is so fucking beautiful, and it's out in nature, and it's about an hour out of the city. And sometimes you just have to get out of the city, which is why I am trying to go to Chicago next weekend. For those of you guys who don't live in LA, I didn't ever feel this way living in Boston. And I don't know that this is the same way with other cities. But there is something about LA, and if you are living here, I cannot express this enough. I guess if you're from here, maybe you feel differently. But if you move to LA, if you decide that you want to come to LA because you need to pursue your dream or for a job or whatever it is, if you move to LA, this city is a city that is supposed to be left. I'm not saying you're supposed to leave it for good. I'm not saying you're supposed to leave it all the time, but it is not a city that you are meant to be in 365 days in a row. It is the most lonely city on the planet, whether you're in a relationship or not. I always talk about Los Angeles is the loneliest city in the fucking planet. It is such such a hard city to live in. It's a hard city to relate to people in. It's a hard city to connect to people in. It's a hard city to trust people in. It's a really, I find this city to be, as much as I love Los Angeles, if you are a transplant here, and again, I'm not talking about the people who were born and raised here, you cannot spend every day here. I believe this in my whole soul. Yeah, PC says, as a native, I don't get that. I hate leaving LA. Matt Munoz says, I disagree, but I've lived here my whole life. I'm not talking to you guys. If you are a transplant, we are not meant to be here 365 days. The city is like, holy shit, overwhelming with the feels you feel. And if you are a transplant, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Legoland says, LA, I'm with you, Matt Munoz. Talking to the people who are not born and raised. If you move here, you've got to get out every once in a while. And I love LA. I live here on purpose. I don't have to live here. I choose to live here. It's a gift for me to live here. I love Los Angeles. But oh my God, if you are a transplant, you will drown if you don't leave every once in a while. So I need to. Every once in a while, I have to get out. And I'm getting to that point recently where I'm itching and I'm like, holy shit, I have to leave the city. I have to get out of here for a couple of days. I cannot just keep staying here like this. It is too much, too hard, too upsetting, and too it's just really, really fucking difficult. So that's why I want to leave. But because my firm is house sitting, I do feel like little day trips are so wonderful. One of the great things about LA is that we're about 2 hours away from everything. So you can go to the mountains, the beach. You can get there. Where my friend lives is like an hour away towards the valley. Like you can go to so many different places, and it's really nice that they're drivable. So it was nice to get out of LA for a day, to go to a different county just to kind of breathe and get a little more space. Jimmy Nails, I live here on purpose. Roxy Striar, 2021. I do. I live here on purpose. I made that choice. I left my whole fucking family. What people don't realize, I think what people don't realize about people who move to LA and why it's so different from people who live here and were born here, or even live close enough to drive home, like Steph or Dorina, they drive home to see their family all the time. I made a decision at 18 years old to leave my entire family. That's how much I want this. I don't want to leave my family. For the rest of my life, I will not live where my sister lives or my brother lives. I will not live in the house in which my mom died. I will not be able to be with my dad or take care of him in the way that if I stayed, I would. And when you choose to live somewhere, that is a choice you are making. So I chose to be here. And that means a lot, I think. So anyway, it was nice to leave for the day on Saturday. Then Saturday night, one of my mentors and friends and bosses and all of the other things in between, Maria Menounos, her birthday had been this last week. So her birthday party was last night, and it was really lovely. She's done a great job of making incredible friends in this city where as I've said, I think it's hard to make really good friends. And it was really nice to be able to connect with people that I hadn't seen since pre-COVID, and also to meet new people. I spent a long time talking to Michael Chiklis, who is awesome. I know his daughter and she's amazing, but it was really nice to talk to him about work and just all different things. And I've met him a couple of times at her parties, but he's just a doll. And then I got to see Lauren LaGrasso and Michael Klaus and Steph. And it was just really, really nice to be with people. And also because Maria, you guys know, just lost her mom, it was nice to see everybody show up and to support. So it was a beautiful night where I was making a lot of connections with people who I feel like want to see me succeed. I think that's one of the things about living here is that there's a clear divide between people who want to see other people succeed and people who don't want to see people succeed. And everybody there just felt like they wanted to see me succeed. And that was really, really nice. Yeah, that was just really, I go, have I done this before? It was really nice. It was really beautiful. And two of their friends are trying to set me up with somebody. And then we're talking with this publicist. I'm talking about work and the world girls and just everything. When, as I've told you guys before, when what you want to do most is hermit inside and not see anybody and not leave your room and not go anywhere, sometimes the exact thing you need is to get the fuck outside and to go be with human beings. And that's what I chose to do, even though I haven't been feeling very good recently. And I'm really, really glad that I did. So that was nice. I drove, so I wasn't drinking. And I kind of took I just took the weekend off of drinking anyway. Tonight for World Girls, I'm ready to party though. Because I just think sometimes you gotta breathe and chill. And especially when you're not feeling good, you gotta give your body a little time to adjust to chemically. Does that make any sense? Yeah. So anyway, questions, comments, concerns, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Then this morning I woke up not hungover, which is always nice. And then I got to get my nails done. And I did a lot of work this morning also. So that was the weekend. And I would love to hear from you guys. Questions, comments, concerns. How's your weekend? If you guys need advice or whatever it is. Paul3JP says, fam, your 30s are going to be great. Also, I watched Heights. Took me 3 separate attempts. Woof. What? Also, I agree with your take on LA, and I've lived here since I was 12. Been lucky enough to go to a handful of cities in this country, and LA isn't even the top 5. I love LA. For me, it is in the top, but I'm just saying I have to leave every once in a while. Oh boy. Everybody remember, I was born here. Heights. It took you 3 separate times to watch. Are you talking about In the Heights? Paul, that's disturbing if that took you that long to watch, because that movie was phenomenal. John Lestrina in the Streamlabs says, friendly reminder, you have 12 more days to prepare, get your rewatches in, and stock up on the Corona. Here's some great wisdom from Papa Dom. They say an open road helps you think. #family. John Lestrina, this is my favorite thing that you're doing. I love anybody who's obsessed with anything. Not anything, but anything like pop culture related is just awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Keep it up. Len Caesar says, Roxy, no need to talk about it today, but I just saw this on the news. Benjamin Netanyahu has been ousted as Israel's prime minister after a 12-year rule. He is now opposition leader. Wow. Naftali Bennett has been sworn in as Israel's new prime minister. Is that real, Glenn? I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to have to do some major looking into this. I won't be able to talk about it today because that is wild. And I don't want to give any thoughts until I have all the information. But that is insane. Yeah, wow, 10 minutes ago. CNN says Israel's new prime minister is sworn in. Yeah. I knew that we knew that something was happening here, but we didn't know exactly what this would look like. Netanyahu pledges will be back as record 12-year run as prime minister ends. 4 hours ago. Israel proven. Wow. Yeah, I will definitely have thoughts on this at some point. So, damn. And I would love to hear from you guys too. Because I don't know enough about Naftali Bennett to comment yet on that. Whoa, baby. Change is always an important thing, though. I will say that. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Getting your questions, comments, concerns, advice that you need. AMA. Leonard Kim says, hey, Dimple Tits. Roxy, I hope you're doing well. Sorry to hear that you're struggling to sleep, but I'm happy that you had an awesome Saturday. Speaking of LA, how much did your cost of living increase comparing Boston to LA? The hair looks beautiful. So what's so hard about that question, Leonard Kim, is the fact that I was living at my father's and my mother's at the time. And so living at your parents compared to moving out to Los Angeles, where you have to pay for all your stuff, is completely different. I had a roof over my head there. So my cost of living was obviously so many thousands less, because my parents fed me, and my parents, not only did they feed me, but they put a roof over my head, and they paid for so many of the things I did, like theater classes and all of that stuff. And when I moved out here, that didn't happen. So it's just very, very different. And it's hard for me to gauge, especially also because that was 12 years ago. So it's not like I was renting an apartment, although apartment costs, I'm sure, have increased since then. So it's really, really hard. I mean, for me, I went from having very low, I had to pay for very little things, and now I have to pay for everything. Also, when I was back there as bartending or bar backing and cocktail waitressing, and I made more money doing that than I've ever made doing anything else in my entire life. So I wish I had saved that. I wish I knew that that's not how life always worked. It's crazy how much you can make behind the bar. Crazy good. I wish that was what my dream was, because then I think I'd be living a much more comfortable life. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Sir Joker 40 says, "You rock, little sissy. I wish I couldn't feel like an adult, but the kids make me be one. You'll be amazing in your 30s, and you're still writing the novel about your life. Keep scribing, sister. Weekend was good. Hashtag be an anomaly. Hashtag Joker Bunny Gang. Hashtag East Coast." Oh, Sir Joker, you're so awesome always. Yeah, I don't know what it is about how turning the decade older. It's like if we never had numbers that were like 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it was just like, it was all different numbers, but the fact that your 20s and 30s feel so different, I don't know. There's just something about turning 30 that's really strange feeling to me. Just when you think about being in your 20s as a kid, you think about you're still in college in your 20s, and that's that decade. And there's a lot of growing up you have to do. And then being in your 30s, I think of your 30s as the being married and having kids. And that's just not the way that things are these days, where everything kind of works in that direction. I just still feel like I'm in my 20s. And I feel like by the time I was in my 30s, I wanted to be with my partner, and I wanted to be a hardcore working actress. I mean hardcore as in like not casually working. Like sometimes I book things. I wanted to consistently be booking things, and on my way to really, really living out my dream. And I don't know, but then the other part of me thinks about it. I was talking to my mentor, Kevin, while I was at Maria's, and you guys have heard me talk about him a lot of times. And sometimes people can say the same thing for years, but when you're in a different place in your life, it sticks differently. Does that make any sense to anybody? Like, if you hear the same thing, but you're not ready to hear it, sometimes you don't hear it. And that's just so unfortunate, because we can't hear things before we're ready to. I know that kind of sounds vague and strange, but that's just the truth. When you are not ready to hear something, you don't take it in the same way. And so sometimes I hear things when I'm ready to. I think we're all like that. And sometimes you wish that you could, but you can't. And so he was talking to me about the World Series in which the Red Sox had the 4-game sweep after losing 3 games in a row. And he told me something about them that I either had forgotten or I had learned it, but I just didn't remember that that's what it was. And it was that the slogan, the motto of the Red Sox during the 2004 World Series was, "Why not us?" And I know that sounds so simple and basic, but why not us? And that really stuck with me. It resonated with me, because he was saying to me, like, you might feel like this past year, in this past lifetime, you feel like you're down 3 games. And I do feel like that. I do feel like I'm a good team. I'm a good person. I work really fucking hard. I think that I just really, really am going at it. But whatever I do, and I know that this is not the whole truth, because there's more to it than this, but getting left by my boyfriend of 5 years in a 4-minute conversation that I still don't fucking understand what the fuck happened, or auditioning for that movie and ultimately having it go to an influencer who didn't even audition for the film, or uh, you know, feeling like I get to the end of a lot of different jobs and like Collider and pitching that show, and then ultimately having them sign off and greenlight it for a year, and then me showing up for my first day of that new show and them saying that it's not happening. And I know that there's some beautiful things that have taken place in my life, and I've had a lot of opportunity as well. But I think a lot of us feel like that, like we're down 3 games, and how the fuck are we going to win the World Series? How are we going to make it to our goals when we're down these 3 games? But he said that their slogan was, why not us? You know, because nobody had ever done it before, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. So why not us? And so I really have been trying to let that sink in the last day. Why not me? Just because I didn't think that I was going to be down 3 games, and just because I didn't think at 30 that I wouldn't be as accomplished or where I wanted to be or any of that stuff, why not me? Why not me? It still could be me, and I can do this. And I really believe that. And I think that for you guys too. And so if that doesn't resonate with you, it might just be the wrong time, and you might not be ready to hear that, or it might be the wrong message for you, and maybe that doesn't work for you. But for me, I'm really trying to let that sink in, like the Red Sox in 2004. Why not us? Even though we're down 3 games. And yeah, that's just kind of, hopefully that hits some of you guys. And if it doesn't, I'm just glad that it hit me a little bit. I got a lot of work to do, and I'm lucky enough to have you guys here to be with me. Leonard Kim in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar said, also from your experience, what percentage of people would you say moved to LA for a career in the entertainment industry as opposed to a career outside of it? I don't personally know anybody who moved to LA for a career outside of the entertainment industry. I know a lot of people who live in LA for careers outside of the entertainment industry, but I don't know anybody who moved here for a career outside of the entertainment industry. I know people who moved here for careers in the entertainment industry and then it didn't work out, or they bailed and then started doing something else. But I literally don't know one person who picked up and moved to LA for something non-entertainment related. I can't think of one, but that's also the circle I run in. I don't have any friends that aren't in the industry in some aspect of the industry. Like, you guys know most of my friends. I don't have any friends that are not in the industry, even if they're on the production side of things or the corporate side of the industry or whatever it is. I don't have anybody who's not at some part in the industry at all. I think about, except for my friends that live back home, those are my only friends that are not in the industry. So really, Leonard Kim, 100% of the people that I've met. Mark Jason Ali with that big support. Fuck yeah, Mark. In the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar says, hi, Rox. I enjoyed In the Heights. It's fun. Watched it Friday. Not seen the stage production. Only Alex hyping it up. I like Lynn, so wanted to check it out. Have you heard from LD or Texas? Turning 30 is cool. I'm 38 this year. It's not so bad. How's your car? Thank you, Mark Jason Ali, for all of this, going through it. I'm glad that you liked In the Heights. I think it's fucking phenomenal. I have not heard from LD or Texas Teacher. I don't know what's going on there. So, yeah, I've not heard. Turning 30 is cool. Well, I'll take your word for it. And congrats on turning 38 this year. That's awesome. And my car is still not great. I got new tires and I got the check engine light fixed, but I think some of you guys know that I drive a convertible and the top is not working. It sometimes will go, sometimes won't, but I have to take that to a body shop and that's going to cost a lot. And then I still was not able to get the back of my car fixed because it's going to be another couple $1,000s. And so it's just what's it called when it's when something is not actually fucking up your car? It's just what the fuck is that word? When it's just on the outside, cosmetic damage. It's just cosmetic right now. So the function of the roof is not cosmetic, and that sucks. And I want to be able to put the top down, because why else drive a convertible? But I don't need that for it to move. And then the back I have not fixed yet. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Very, very sweet. Thank you for your consideration, Mark Jason Holly. Glenn Caesar in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar says, yeah, Roxy, it's the whole when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. We can't see, hear, feel, or perceive what we're not truly ready for or doesn't resonate with us yet. All in time, in the proper way and time, but only at its proper time. I agree, Glenn. The thing is, too, though, not all messages will resonate with you at any point in your life. But some messages, just because they don't hit you at that time, it's not that they'll never hit you, it's that they're just not hitting you right then. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar King Sport Cow says, oh, the top don't work on your convertible. I know it sounds douchey. I mean, it's a used Volkswagen, if that makes it sound less douchey, King Sport Cow, but I love it. It's my baby, and I really, really, really love my car. I think that before this, I drove a Mercedes, also used. I've never had a new car in my life, actually. I've had 3 cars in my life, and all of them have been very much so used. But the Mercedes I drove before this, I fucking hated. It broke down all the time. It cost me so much money. It wouldn't stop lighting on fucking fire. Yes, on fire. And so this car has been such a gift. It's never once fucked up on me in terms of just getting me from point A to point B. And I love it so much. I love it so much. And this thing, I don't think there's an actual big issue with it. But yeah, it makes me really happy. And I live in LA, and it wasn't any more expensive than the non-convertible. So I know it sounds bougie, King Sport Cow, but it's not as bougie as it sounds, if that helps at all. I did hear how it sounded when it was coming out of my mouth, though. I did hear it. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. King Sport Cow says, I love my 2002 Ford Taurus as well. Good. I'm glad you love it. I'm glad that you love it. That's really it's cool to like your car. This is the first car I've ever had that I really like. Before that, I in high school I drove a Honda Civic, and it was, I think, a really great first car. It was a silver with the spoiler, and I just never, it was a 2-door. And so I remember high school is when you were always trying to get, and I shared it with my brother, and all of that is so fucking lucky, but I just never could fit anybody in it. And I wasn't a good driver, and I didn't want to fuck it up. And the whole thing was like, and then the other one that, like I told you guys, always lit on fire. So this is the first car I ever had where I'm like, oh my God, a car that I want to drive. It's very cool. So I'm just happy about it. And I think that we should always, when you're happy about something, you should acknowledge it. Don't hide from it just because it makes you seem bougie. Just like my nails. These make me bougie too. So I was afraid to ever get them, but I just was so excited. My sister hates this kind of thing. She hates that I'm like such a sparkly person. No, she doesn't hate that I'm sparkly, but she's not into it. And so I texted her my nails, and I said to her, just such a typical conversation between us. I texted them to her, and she said, those are fun. They already look longer. And I said, I know they aren't your taste, but I'm obsessed. And she said, I love that you're on board. It's her nice way of saying, like, you fucking child. Why are they sparkly and silver? And I'm like, because they just make me happy. They make me happy. So I'm no Steph, and I can't make them too long because it's annoying when you can't fucking do them. All right, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Get in your questions, comments, concerns, things that you need advice for, things that you want to give me advice on. What should I do in my last month of being in my 20s? John Bainbridge in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar said, hey, Roxy, have you seen Bo Burnham's Inside on Netflix? It's hilarious, depressing, cathartic, unsettling, and somehow uplifting. And he does a song about turning 30. Yeah, I have seen it. I do agree that it is all those things. I really loved it. I recommended it to my co-host, DJ Woldridge, because Bo Burnham reminds me of our old co-host, Sam Basher, a lot. And so I don't know. I thought he'd like it, but he hated it. He turned it off after like 5 minutes. I thought the special was awesome. I think that Bo Burnham is a fucking genius. I think he's really, really talented and great at what he does. The song about turning 30 obviously resonated with me. And as he's 29 and spending his last few moments, and I was just like, wow, turning 30 in quarantine, that is something. So yes, it definitely. I really loved the special. I'm watching a lot of stuff that I love right now. Kim's Convenience this season is really good. It's upsetting that Simu Liu and the whole cast have been talking out about how they don't feel like they were as appreciated and that there was some things that they wish had taken place better. So that sucks. But I love that show. I'm almost done with Lucifer, and this wasn't my favorite season, but I still really like that show. Obviously, I'm all about The Bachelorette. I think that Clark and Superman and Lois, I keep wanting to call it Lois and Clark. Superman and Lois has been awesome. Really into that show right now. So yeah, those are some of the things that I'm watching. Not that you asked, you just asked about Inside, but I figured I'd share anyway. Leonard Kim in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Get in your questions, y'all. Weird question. Are you currently wearing pants with pockets? If so, how many Skittles do you have in them? Be honest. That's funny. I don't always put Skittles in my pockets. And honestly, when I came inside, yes, I had Skittles in my pockets. I am wearing pants with pockets right now. But when I went to get my nails done, I had Skittles in there. I got really hungry at the nail salon. So I ate the Skittles out of my pockets. I often keep Skittles in my pockets, or at least some kind of candy. People on my Instagram story were so fucking surprised by that one because usually people put wrapped stuff in there, but I just keep them unwrapped in there. I love Skittles. I know people fucking hate when other people say I forget to eat, but like all the time, I won't have time to, or something will happen where I just didn't eat that day. I haven't eaten yet today other than those Skittles. And so it's always nice to have a little something with you. Usually that thing should be a power bar, but I'll do what I can. And the Skittles in this situation are what I can do. So yeah, I really love Skittles. I love Skittles. I love Sour Patch Kids, Skittles, Starbursts, Reese's. Those are I know that Reese's are chocolate, but those are my main jams. Not says I should be sponsored by Skittles. I really think I should. I like all the Skittles commercials too. I love Taste the Rainbow. I love the Skittles Pox one that took place. I thought that was fucking funny because I feel like I have Skittle Pox. Apollo 3JP in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar said, when I turned 30, I jumped out of a plane. Would you ever do something like that? If so, I suggest doing it in Santa Barbara. Seeing the ocean as you free fall is really something special. Yeah, I would love to. I'm saving. I've never done that. Dee's never done that. Steph's never done that. So we're saving jumping out of a plane for the World Girls whenever we can afford and film that episode. So yes, I think that's great. It would be fun to do for my 30th. I don't think it's going to happen for my 30th though. I remember my sister really wanted to do that for her 21st or something like that. Laren says, imagine a pocket full of unwrapped Reese's. That'd be a fucking disaster. A fucking disaster. What's on that necklace, says King Sport Cow. This says Roxy. It's a beautiful necklace. I say that because I'll tell you why in a second. It's really, really small. Just this little gold writing says Roxy, which is not something I would ever buy for myself because I would never buy anything that said my name on it because I would feel like that is a strange thing. But my friend Jenna, who got married a few years ago, is a really, really generous, incredible person. And for all of her bridesmaids, she bought us all these gold necklaces with our names on them. And it's like one of the nicest presents that somebody's gotten for me. So it was really sweet. And so I wear it every day, almost every day at least. And then also what was crazy too is that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the other piece of jewelry that I wear every day is this ring. And this ring, after my mom passed away, she had a jewelry box of stuff and I gave most of everything to my sister because I wanted my sister to have it. But this was in her jewelry box. It was something I'd never seen her wear before. And I was like, I wonder what the fuck that is. So I put it on 10 years ago and I haven't taken it off since. I mean, I take it off like this, but I don't take it off to shower. I don't take it off to do anything. I didn't even know you really have to clean rings and stuff. But every time I lotion or whatever, I guess it had gotten so fucking gunky, like just in the way that this works. I think you'll be able to see this if I hold this close. So you see how you can see, hold on. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Maybe if I put my hand behind it or something. Yeah, okay. See how you can see through the ring to the other side? You literally couldn't see through that. There was no holes. There was no circle, whatever. And so it had gotten so gunky, I didn't even know that it looked like this. And so yesterday when I was at the pool, there was this girl there that started a jewelry company called Mustard, which is really fucking cool. Actually, I took a look at it and she makes beautiful stuff. But she was saying to me, I can't even tell what your ring is because there's so much shit in it. So I cleaned it. She thinks that it's aquamarine, which is cool. I still don't know why my mom had it or what exactly it is, but I knew nothing about this ring and she started telling me about it. So it says on it, she just was telling me, was telling me when she thinks it's from or whatever. And I still don't know why my mom would have had this and why she never would have worn it or who gave it to her or what. And I wish I could get more behind the story from it. But even the fact that she was able to tell me as much as she was, it was just so exciting. And anything that feels like I'm closer to my mom, and I took like a toothpick and fucking poked it out, all of the gunk, and it was wild. So anyway, that's kind of a weird story, but I was just excited about it. And I've been wearing this ring every day for 10 years. I didn't even know what fucking stone it was. She either thinks it's aquamarine or tourmaline or something, tormund or something along those lines. I don't know shit about jewelry. I don't know anything about jewelry. Jimmy Nails in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar said, remember what Aaliyah said? Age ain't nothing but a number. I think what you're experiencing is universal in our generation. Remember, we got economically screwed. I'm 35 soon and living the best life I ever have. Your best is ahead of you, I swear. Jimmy Nails, I love that for you. You feel like you're living the best life that you ever had? That's amazing. I hope that we all feel like that every day, always. Yeah, I really hope that. Oh, that's so great, Jimmy Nails. Mark Jason Ali in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Thank you for the Streamlab, Mark. You're so supportive. Is AfterBuzz still a thing? Haven't seen any new content for a while. I know it relied on after shows. I like AfterBuzz as a network. Hope it's back soon. And Vicious Ocean asked, would you release a bag of Skittles while you skydive to create a candy rainbow? In terms of AfterBuzz, I know that AfterBuzz still does social media and editorial. They have been on video hiatus for quite some time. I don't know what's happening there in terms of if and when they intend on returning, but they still do a lot of articles and social, which you guys know I help with their social. And yeah, I think that that's where their main focus is right now. And then in terms of, and I love it there. Obviously, that was my home for so many years. And then in terms of Vicious Ocean asking about the Skittles, no, I wouldn't, because if something hits somebody from that high up and then it hits somebody on the head, it can cause some actual damage. And just I would be so upset if I hurt somebody with a Skittle rainbow. That would be so bad. I'd be really, really, I feel so guilty about things all of the time. I know that that comes with a lot of different backgrounds, but Jewish guilt is real. We guilt other people and we feel super guilty about things. Like the other day, I told Dee and Steph about this thing that I can't stop thinking about, where we went to the food court at Century City before we were seeing a movie. And I had my hands full with a bunch of things, but they had given me a fork and knife, and I dropped the knife on the ground with a bunch of other stuff, and I picked it all up to throw it away, but my hands were so full and whatever. And then they gave me another knife, and then I walked away. And as I was walking away, I noticed there was still I had left a utensil on the ground, and I was just like, fuck it. Something will happen to it. And then all week I thought about it. All week I was like, why the fuck did you leave that utensil on the ground? It's nobody's job to pick up after you, Roxy. What the fuck is wrong with you? Somebody else had to pick that up at some point. And I legit, that has made me lose sleep. Talk about reasons that I can't sleep. This is the kind of shit I do. I think about that. I'm like, wow, what the fuck's wrong with me? Why didn't I go back for it? Go put your food down, go back over there, pick up the utensil and throw it the fuck out. It's a plastic utensil. You don't want to leave it on the ground. And I just have not stopped thinking about it. And that was, when did we go see In the Heights? That was Monday. And that was a week ago. And I thought about that every night. And that's why I have to pitch a perfect game. It's not even because, oh, look at me, I just want to be a great person. If I am not being the best version of me, I can't fucking sleep over a utensil. Just so fucking mad at myself. And then there's ways to make it up if you're like me and you're feeling that as well. The next time you see a utensil on the ground or some trash on the ground or whatever, pick it up, do your part. But I keep looking around and I haven't seen anything. I'm just like, oh, I need somebody to drop something so I can feel better about myself so I can pick it up. Somebody help a sister out. We are getting out of here relatively soon. So any last minute questions, comments, concerns, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Get them in now, get them in loud, get them in proud. I appreciate all of you guys' support in here, especially because if I am going to Chicago, I might need to take an extra day off or something this week. I'll keep you guys posted about all of that, but mo support, mo better. Y'all are the best. James Zimmerman says, Roxy, I know it completely what you're talking about with that. Holy crap. Yeah, it fucking eats at you. It is so frustrating. It is so frustrating. It's just, you can't help it. You can't help it. All right, any last minute things, get them in now. We have the World Girls tonight. We are figuring out what my next 30 days, my last 30 days of being in my 20s are going to look like. So make sure you tune into that. That's going to be 7 p.m. youtube.com/the World Girls. And also tomorrow, if you are in St. Louis, I do a radio show every Monday morning for John Carney and Julie Buck, their radio show, which is really fun. I talk about television. On Tuesday, I'm doing SEN, where we're doing some interviews with the director of, I don't know if this has been announced yet, but I think it's okay. The director of the movie Unholy, which is coming out in the end of June, and also a ghost expert. So that's exciting. So make sure you check that out. Then also, Only Stupid Answers is supposed to be on Fridays, but I don't know if I'm going to be in town. So we're trying to figure out when exactly we want to do that. If not, then I'll miss that for this week if I do decide to go away. So a lot of stuff up in the air. But of course, Wednesdays and Sundays always for the World Girls. I will be there. Appreciate you guys so much for being here with me live at the Roxy every day. And shout out to everybody who is in here. To Andrew Thomas, to Laren McMullen, Jimmy Nails, King Sport Cow, Lemmy Kilmister, Bruce Banner, Jimmy Nails, Vicious Ocean, Glenn Caesar, Star Gonzalez, Jake Yacovetta, James Zimmerman, Chris Martinez, Matt Munoz, Mark Jason Ali with that support today. Appreciate you, my friend. Keep scrolling. John Bainbridge, Robert Fishbeck, Jonathan Donsel, Kana K. Did Pattinson really walk off the set? I don't know. Is that what we're hearing? Leo PC. I don't think I had heard that yet. Neil Handstock, John Get Bent, Jackson Clissold. Do not forget to eat, y'all. It's very important. Rick Bocanegra, UCF 810. Shout outs to everyone. Zadius Smith, Danny M, Sir Joker 40. Some of y'all be quiet until the shout outs. Simply Emily. But I always give them to you guys anyway because I love you guys and I appreciate any and all support you can give. And sometimes it's just showing up here. And that's a fucking enough. I will see you guys later tonight. Susie Easton, what's good? I'll see you guys later tonight for the World Girls and then tomorrow for Live at the Roxy. Much love. Stay safe. Stay sane. Make sure you blow on your internet. That's how we check it. Brett Miles, Jonathan, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Don't trend with the Holocaust. Make your bed if you haven't already. Put down the toilet seat and lid. We do not want those flumes. Much love to every single one of you guys. 30 till 30. Come join me tonight to talk about what that will look like.